Do you remember the famous science fiction movie The Matrix from 1999? Well, actually it was a trilogy, so the sequels were released in 2003. It was a big hit at that time. I remember people clapping in the movie theaters while watching the trailers of the sequels to come. And this movie was entirely new, a new experiment in science fiction for many reasons, but one of them is that it was taking very seriously artificial intelligence and virtual reality. So the characters at the beginning of the movie, they live in this world, but this world is fake, is not real. Truly, their bodies are in some kind of containers in which computers will cause impulses in their minds, making this entire world real in their minds. So, but nothing else was true, and it was, of course, in this, in this movie, our real selves are digital, so we are like softwares, and so all these, we were all in these containers, but our minds were, in a sense, participating in this big video game, in a sense, but it was real, the reality. So imagine that this is true, that imagine that this world is completely fake, is virtual, and everything is happening in our minds because of somebody, making that happen through impulses, into our mind. If you do that, and if you take it that seriously, you will understand at once René Descartes, the famous philosopher from the early 17th century, who is considered the father of modern philosophy. What he did is precisely to imagine the scenario of this science fiction movie. He actually says that he felt like he was a prisoner in a dream. And of course, instead of the machines, in his thought experiment, there was God. What if how do I know that God did not bring it about, that there is no earth at all, no heavens, no extended thing, no shape, no size, no place, and yet bringing it about that all these things appear to me to exist precisely as they do now? So this is René Descartes in the Meditations on First Philosophy. How does he know that God is not making all these things appear, but there is nothing really, nothing. Everything else is fake. Everything that we feel, we think we are feeling, but is not there really. Now in the Matrix, think about it. Is there a way out? If you were living in this world, which is entirely fake, how could you get out of this world? Descartes was looking for something certain, since he couldn't trust anything coming from the senses because it could be unreal. He didn't trust anything at all. He imagined that God could deceive him to the point of making 2 + 2 = 4 uncertain. So how can you be saved, rescued from this world? So in the movie, the main character, Neo, is actually saved by Morpheus, this character who, for some reason that it's too long to explain here, but he knew and he could go in and out from the virtual reality to his real body. But without Morpheus, he couldn't be saved. So it's interesting that Descartes, wanting to doubt about everything, and he thought that he could trust just his self-awareness as a thinking thing, as a res cogitans in Latin, as he trusted just his thought without even knowing if he had a body or any sensation. But could Neo actually get this kind of certainty if his entire education and life had been spent in a totally fake world in which even his way of thinking was induced by machines? If he were just a software programmed by somebody else, I mean, anything can go in that kind of software. But most of all, how can he go back to some certainty? If that was true, there is no way to rescue you from that world. It's interesting that Descartes has been highly criticized for an operation that is probably highly illogical in his thought. But after this entire experiment, after claiming that he could find certainties about reality through his own mind, only through his own mind. He actually called for God. God was Morpheus in the Matrix. So Descartes ultimately will trust that God will not deceive him. Otherwise, he would never be able to accept reality as true in any meaning of the word. It's interesting that both, I don't think that the directors of these movies, of the Matrix, had any idea of how deep the connection with Descartes was. But I think that they both sensed that without a savior, without trusting an external source for reality, there is no way to find back reality if the entire world should be doubted about.